Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting for the Parks and Recreation Committee for Tuesday, March 21st to order. I'd like to read the land acknowledgement. As we gather today, I would respectfully acknowledge on behalf of Council and the community that the City of Pembroke resides on the unceded traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We thank the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. It is with this statement that we honor and respect the Algonquins on whose land we reside. Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interests and general nature thereof? Seeing none, could I have a motion to approve the amendment of meeting agenda, please? Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by the Mayor. All in favor? The minutes of February 21st, 2023 have been circulated. Are there any errors or omissions or comments? Seeing none, could I have a motion to accept? Moved by Councillor Jackno, seconded by Councillor Plummer. All in favor? New business. Keeping Pembroke Beautiful Advisory Committee name change. Jordan.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. The recommendation for this report is that the Parks and Recreation Committee, number one, approve a name change of Keeping Pembroke Beautiful Advisory Committee to Beautification and Climate Action Advisory Committee, and number two, approve the new terms of reference for Beautification and Climate Action Advisory Committee attached to this report. So just a bit of background on this report. So for the current term of council, Climate Action and Beautification were merged together to form the Advisory Committee of Keeping Pembroke Beautiful. And on February 8th, the Keeping Pembroke Beautiful Advisory Committee hosted their first meeting of the new council term. The committee did consider and agree to changing its names to Beautification and Climate Action Committee. Should council approve this, the committee's name would better represent the advisory committee as a whole and would reflect its mandate a bit better. The committee also reviewed the terms of reference and recommended some subtle changes to, once again, better reflect the advisory committee in both a beautification and from a climate lens. There are no financial implications to report this time, so I'll turn it back to the chair, and if there's any questions from council, I'd be happy to answer.
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I sit on the this committee with Councillor Jackno, and I was on it the first term, my first term of office also. And I want to publicly commend Anne McKay, who's the chair of the committee, who's worked diligently with CEO UNRWA and staff on the terms of reference, and also with Mr. DeRoche to get them rolled in from the climate advisory into this terms of reference. And I had concerns at the beginning when the other committee was cancelled, but in discussion with the mayor and staff and this committee, I'm very satisfied, and so is Anne McKay and the committee, with these terms of reference. Climate action is very important in the world, in our community, and also beautification. Some communities have it, a committee like this called the Environment and Climate Action, but I'm okay with beautification. It's very important, and climate action. So I'd make a motion that we accept this recommendation for the name change and the terms of reference.
We have a motion on the floor. Mayor, you were about to speak. Did you want to second that motion?
Sure.
So you'll second it and then comment?
Please, thank you, Madam Chair. So I wholeheartedly support the recommendation that's coming forward from staff. I know that I've had some communication with Ms. McKay, and I think that there's some great work being done there, that this new committee is evolving in terms of trying to combine those two and successfully combining those two particular items. Both, I believe, are very important for the city of Pembroke. As I always say, Pembroke is the beautiful city of Pembroke, and I'm mindful of the impact and the necessity for the climate lens. I know that in the operations department, together with the chair, Councillor Plummer, that the operations is always mindful of the environment, that it's extremely important, it's particularly not only for the real reason being climate effects that are happening, but when you're applying for funding, as we always do, from different levels of government, that you need to be mindful of that, and that the province and the federal government is always mindful of it and wants to see what it is that the city of Pembroke is doing, leading by example when we're applying for grants and so forth, because as I've said countless times over, there's no way that our particular ratepayer can do it all on their own. So we need those grants as well. So I think it's a win all the way around. So I'm glad to see from the Deputy Mayor that the committee is doing that well, and so I wholeheartedly support it. Thank you.
Any further comments? Seeing none, we do have a motion moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by the Mayor. All in favor? Approved. Thank you. Well, that was a short agenda. So we have nothing else on tonight's agenda. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please? Moved by Councillor Keel, seconded by Councillor Plummer. All in favor? This Parks and Recreation Committee meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the council meeting for March 21st, 2023. At this time, I would ask everyone to please rise for an opening prayer or reflection. Before opening this meeting of council, I would ask those who wish, each in your own way, silently join in a prayer of guidance over these proceedings. Thank you. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest this evening? Councillor Plummer?
Yeah, thank you, Worship. As I was not at the Operations Committee of February 21st, I have to declare that there was no Operations Committee tonight, so I couldn't declare my pecuniary interest there. But as I was not at the February 21st meeting, there was an agenda matter that I had an interest in, and I was also not in attendance at that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Noted. Any other disclosures this evening? Seeing none, move to minutes. First we have is the March 7, 2023 regular meeting of council. I'd entertain a motion for their approval having been circulated. I have Councillor Plummer, seconded by Councillor Keel. Those in favor? That's carried. The next set of minutes is from a committee being Parks and Recreation, February 21st, 2023. Again, so the Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Lafreniere. Those in favor? And that's carried. For bylaws, we have the first one is 2023-22, an encroachment agreement, 157 Pembroke Street West. Councillor Jacquinot.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Plummer, that bylaw 2023-22 being a bylaw to allow the encroachment of an outdoor patio on public lands on Pembroke Street West and municipally located in front of 157 Pembroke Street West be adopted and passed, and further that the said bylaw be signed by Your Worship and the clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation. Waiting your signature.
Moved by Councillor Jacquino, seconded by Councillor Plummer, that bylaw 2023-22, a bylaw to allow the encroachment of an outdoor patio on public lands on Pembroke Street West and municipally located in front of 157 Pembroke Street West be adopted and passed, and further that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation. Councillor Jacquino?
Thank you, Your Worship. As this will be an entity that'll help the downtown core to bring some continuity to tourism, et cetera, especially now that the highway is going to be coming forward to Renfrew, the four-laning. More people will come to this area to settle, et cetera, and to visit. So it's a wonderful thing that we can continue to support local business and make things happen in cooperation with our business people. Thank you.
Thank you. To call the question, those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Next is 2023-23, half-masting and raising of flags policy. Councillor Keel.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Lafreniere, that bylaw 2023-23, a bylaw to adopt a half-masting and raising of flags policy for the city of Pembroke, be adopted and passed, and further that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation.
By Councillor Keel, seconded by Councillor Lafreniere, that bylaw 2023-23, a bylaw to adopt half-masting and raising of flags policy for the city of Pembroke be adopted and passed, and further that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation. Councillor Keel.
Thank you, Your Worship. Last June, Council did pass this bylaw in a very, very similar format. With the passing of Her Majesty, the prior bylaw referred to Queen Elizabeth II. This bylaw has been amended to refer to the sovereign, so that we don't have to necessarily bring this back each time there's a change in the monarch. And there were a couple other housekeeping additions that were made that we spoke about at the last council meeting.
Thank you. So call the question. Those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Motions. We have Resolution 2023-08. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. This resolution was brought forward from the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Andrew Plummer. Whereas the homeless crisis has taken a devastating toll on families and communities, undermining a healthy and prosperous Ontario, and whereas the homelessness crisis is a result of the underinvestment and poor policy choices of successive provincial governments, and whereas homelessness requires a range of housing, social service, and health solutions from government, and whereas homelessness is felt most at the level of local government and the residents that they serve, and whereas municipalities and district social administration boards are doing their part but do not have the resources, capacity, or tools to address this complex challenge, and whereas leadership and urgent action is needed from the provincial government on an emergency basis to develop, resource, and implement a comprehensive plan to prevent, reduce, and ultimately end homelessness in Ontario. Therefore, be it resolved that the City of Pembroke calls on the provincial government to urgently A, acknowledge that homelessness in Ontario is a social, economic, and health crisis. B, commit to ending homelessness in Ontario. C, work with AMO and a broad range of community health, Indigenous, and economic partners to develop, resource, and implement an action plan to achieve this goal. And further, that a copy of this motion be sent to the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, the Minister of Children, Community and Social Services, the Minister of Health, and to the Association of Municipalities of Ontario.
So as we've heard, Resolution 2023-08 moved by Councillor Abdallah and seconded by Councillor Plummer, and I'm going to spare everyone listening to it twice, despite the fact that it's very important, and instead I'd rather hear from the Deputy Mayor on this particular important issue.
Thank you, Your Worship. We know in our community, homelessness is a challenge, a crisis, despite what we are trying as a council to work with our Renfrew County and the Grind and other agencies to alleviate homelessness still exists all across Ontario and Canada. And years ago, services were downloaded to the municipalities, and now we are at a standstill where we need support for either Pembroke or Renfrew County to address the homelessness issue. It's a very complex issue.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. So I'll call the question. Those in favor of this resolution? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Members of council, on March 17th, I had the great pleasure to attend a grand opening of Sip Stirs in downtown Pembroke with the Deputy Mayor as the council representative to the PBIA. I got an opportunity to try out some of their smoothies, and I must say they were rather tasty. I've never had a smoothie before, but it was very tasty. And I want to encourage everyone to support all the businesses in Pembroke, and particularly in the downtown. I think it's going to do very well, and so it's nice to see different individuals with that business spirit coming to Pembroke and starting up their own business and making Pembroke, and including and especially the downtown, even better than it is. On yesterday, March 2nd, Councillor Giacono and I attended the Algonquin College Speaker Series to listen to the Right Honourable David Johnston. I want to first indicate that I think what a treasure we have in terms of Algonquin College. To have such an institution right here in the city of Pembroke that can do things like that, like having this fireside chat, bringing individuals such as this individual to our community, allowing individuals to gather, last night being at no charge, to gather around and listen to the Right Honourable David Johnston. This evening, what I was going to do, I was thinking ahead, and I was reading his biography in anticipation of the meeting tomorrow. Last night, and was thinking about what I might say this evening about it. And I must say, last night I was completely captivated by this individual. I want to say that certainly Jamie Bramberger certainly did not disappoint. He's always, a very good spokesperson, is able to ask certain questions and to gather information from someone and do that type of event. But I must say to meet this man, this Right Honourable David Johnston. So at this point, I think I'm at $20, which is a joke from last night. Every time you called him that, it was a $10 fee, all in jest, but that just speaks to his qualities. You quickly understand that he's a very intelligent person, but a very humble, talking about his background, and just a wealth of experience that he's developed, and is able to comment upon our community, comment on different world events, talk about social media, you name the topic, and he was able to discuss it quite well. So I just was ecstatic. I went home and my wife asked me why I was so hyper, but it was just that spirit after listening to him. And as I told him that evening, is that I could have listened to him for hours. So his latest book is called Empathy, and I'm just utterly amazed by this man and what he has. He touched upon leadership, and as I told him, I said any time that just love to listen to him more. It was very well attended, and I hope that in years to come that he will come back again. So I would conclude my mayor's message this evening just to say that one thing that I really enjoy about council is that always being able to attend functions that I wouldn't normally put myself out there to attend, whether it's opening up a business or what have you, and it's meeting new people, learning new things, and I find that to be most interesting to me. So as always, I would say stay safe and be kind to one another. Notices of motion. Are there any notices of motion this evening? Seeing none, is there any councillor updates this evening? Councillor Lafreniere?
The Pembroke Curling Centre was celebrating 150 years this past year, and the year will be coming to an end, the celebrations. This Saturday will be the final celebration, and it will be an event recounting history of the Ottawa Valley and curling through music, storytelling, and dance. Gillen Roots, Gail Gavin, and Dennis Harrington will be there. Dave Lemke will be the MC. It's $10 a person. It's going to be an amazing night. It's going to be starting at 6 p.m. It's only a couple hours long, but I invite anyone who's really has an interest in the culture and the history of our community. It's going to be a wonderful event. So I invite you all. There's a limited number. There might be some tickets left, but I just want to let everybody know that on behalf of the Curling Centre, we really appreciate all the support through the Winter Games and the entire curling season. Thank you very much.
Councillor Lafreniere. Any other? Councillor Jacquinot?
Thank you, Your Worship. I would just like to support some of the words that you said about our distinguished visitor that attended the college yesterday. I'd also like to recognize Ray Bonenberg, who provided a wonderful selection of maple syrup products that were presented to the Governor General. As you know, or you may not know, he has 14 grandchildren. So when I was talking to Ray, he said, well, how many bottles of syrup do you want? I said, well, if you give him one, it'll be gone the first pancake breakfast. So he had included an extra bottle or two of syrup and maple products, maple butter, spiced maple for cooking, etc. He has, you know, he's within the area. He's a real motivator, real promoter of our area. I'd also like to say that one of the things that stuck with me was the Governor General came from a very humble background. And he had a challenging youth. Everybody thought, you know, he must have been born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and he had very elite and rich parents. But that was not the case. But he came up through the ranks. He worked very hard, and as you said, Your Worship, he was very humble. But I think I'd just like to focus on one thing that he spoke about, and that was volunteerism. He said there has to be more of that in communities like this. You know, I look around the table. You know, Your Worship, I know you're involved with the Kiwanis Club. Councillor Deputy Mayor Abdallah has been with Civitan. This fellow, maybe not directly with any club, but he does a lot of things in the background that people don't hear about that's really good for the community. Councillor Keel, minor ball, you know, and some other things. I don't know all his particulars. Councillor Fernier, the United Way. Personally, humbly, I was involved with Air Cadets for a number of years, also with the United Way. But he said, if you don't get involved in your community falters. And he said that a good indicator, when you look at a community, and he said you're gauging one, he said if you look at the volunteers in a community and they're very low, he said the quality of the community is not that good either. So, you know, anybody that has an hour or two, wants to help, there's lots of clubs in the area, lots of people looking for assistance. You know, there's the community garden coming up. I'm sure, Deputy Mayor, people are looking for help. You know, it's an hour or two, and you make our community a better place to live. I did say to him when he was signing my book, I said, now that you're the former, Governor General, Your Excellency, I said, should I just call you Your Ex? And he laughed wholeheartedly. He said, you can call me whatever you'd like. But he's very, very personable, and I'm sure he's probably, he was an outstanding Governor General for Canada, and he's still an outstanding person that's working on behalf of the country and all Canadians. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Your Worship. A few items tonight. Thank you, Councillor Jacquinot, for talking about volunteerism, because it's right what I'm about to talk about. And the Civitan Club is a exceptional club, but I was in the Kinsman Club, another exceptional club. So all the service clubs are great. Anyhow, the first two items are on behalf of the Mayor Gervais and myself. The Pembroke Careford Community Garden will be entering its 4th year, and we are needing volunteers, especially for the food bank gardens that we have, because we donate lots of produce to the St. Joseph's Food Bank. I was down at the Ontario Youth Hub the other day on Nelson Street, and they're going to volunteer on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which is great. So if you would like to volunteer, we need you. And everything is supplied, and Mayor Gervais and I can show you the ropes, and just contact either one of us. Community Watch meeting is on Monday, April 3rd at 7 p.m. at the Fire Hall. Bethia Summers will be coming to talk about the Pembroke Business Improvement Association and their canvassing to create a neighborhood watch zone in their neighborhood. If you need more information, contact Mayor Gervais or I, and there'll be more stuff out on social media and in the newspaper next week, hopefully. Getting back to the community garden, rainbarrel.ca fundraising campaign will be starting this month, and $60 for the average barrel, and all funds go to the Pembroke Care for Community Garden. If you need more information, contact myself or Mayor Gervais, and you'll see the billboards out and all the signs in April. Last year we raised $1,200, which is very good. It's also good for the environment. On behalf of the PBA, we want to talk about and the City of Pembroke, the Community Expo, which is growing every year, takes place at the PMC on May 12th and 13th. If you have a business or a service, you want to set up a booth, contact the city or Bethia Summers at PBA office. On the same day in the morning, this announcement's on behalf of Councillor Giacono and I, the Beautification and Climate Action Committee are organizing the annual Community Cleanup Day, and we're going to be meeting at the PMC at 9 o'clock. There'll be more ads out and notices on the city website also for that. And I think that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor updates? Seeing none. Confirming bylaw, I have Councillor Plummer.
Thank you, Worship. By myself, second by Deputy Mayor Abdallah, that bylaw 06-2/2023 to confirm the proceedings of the regular meeting of council of March 21st, 2023 be adopted and passed, and further said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk and sealed with the corporation.
Moved by Councillor Plummer, second by the Deputy Mayor, that bylaw 06-2023 to confirm the proceedings of the regular meeting of March 21st, 2023 be adopted and passed, and further that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation. Those in favor? That's carried. And a motion to adjourn. I have the Deputy Mayor and Councillor Keel. We are adjourned. Thank you.